The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $70 per month cash rewards by using the Edge Boost card with the link edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN on Underdog Fantasy for a $1,000 bonus credit. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Monday afternoon, roughly 5 p.m. Eastern Time on April 7th. And host of the episode, Reichel, joined by Dylan Rockford. Together, we're going to break down every game on the Tuesday card. Dylan, first things first, how's it going with you? How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was good. Outside the shitty weather, I went up to Rhode Island, but it was just pouring. Absolutely great seafood, but it was good. Had a great weekend betting-wise.
What brought you to Rhode Island? Did you go for the seafood, or you just went for other reasons?
My girlfriend, her family lives up there, and I'm basically just a taxi cab. I'm just the one driving, but I went.
But you got rewarded with seafood, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, how was your weekend?
Overall, fine. It was uneventful. I didn't go to Rhode Island. I ended up just hanging out in the apartment, basically, just watching some college basketball, watching Duke fall apart, which killed my bracket, but it's for the greater good because I hate Duke, so it could be worse, I guess. Mostly been, just hanging in there, just watching sports, watching some
Any
NBA.
Tennis?
They did start a big tournament there on the clay slate
Nice.
about yesterday. So I did a couple episodes, was talking about it. Picks, unfortunately, have not been that great since we switched back to clay, which is kind of annoying, but we'll figure it out. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But either way, can't complain. Just still watching a bunch of sports. I've been sleeping a lot, which is, something that's
unusual for you.
Well, no, the hours are the problem. I'm still staying up late. I'm just sleeping basically after some podcasts. I'll just take a nap for a couple hours. But it's been getting me by. But yeah, overall, can't complain. But
good.
I can't say I've ever actually been to Rhode Island. Trying to think of how many states on the actual series Upper East Coast I've actually been to.
Really?
I haven't been to many. I've been to Massachusetts. I've been to, if I'm just thinking of all the states I've been to, I've never been to Rhode Island, never been to Maine, never been to New Hampshire. I was not in, but I went to Connecticut one time. So,
Vermont?
I think I drove through Vermont and Delaware one time.
Okay.
So, I don't think I've ever actually, stayed in any of those states, but I've been to them a couple times.
You've been to Wisconsin?
That I have. I have. But, yeah, that was definitely one of the furthest places I ventured in America. Did visit a couple schools in California before they all rejected me. So
why would you want to go out? Just curiosity real quick before we start. Why choose the Midwest and out west for college as opposed to staying local?
I didn't really want to stay local in New York, but it was also me trying to get into the journalism program. So
nice.
So
did you ever look at Syracuse?
Syracuse, it was in state, but I thought about it. But I visited upstate because I had a bunch of friends that went to Binghamton. So I ended up getting that experience already.
Nice.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm good. So I ended up choosing to go to the cold winters instead in Wisconsin. Anyway, a point is we do have a lot of games to get into on the card. Before we get into any of the games, though, do you want to quickly talk about the breaking news that happened at the perfect time of 12:30 in the morning last night? It was the Toronto Blue Jays. Speaking of cold weather places, as they made some news, they ended up signing their franchise cornerstone player to a very, very long contract. In fact, Vlad Jr. got paid $500 million over 14 years. That comes out to about $37.5 million per year. First things first, I'm going to get your thoughts on it. What do you think? Is it an overpay? Do you like the move anyway? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's an overpay. I think he's worth it. He's a Blue Jay for life now. Since 2020, he's been a top 10 hitter. He's 7th in RBIs, 8th in home run. He's tied for 9th in batting average. And, do I think it's an overpay? A couple years ago, maybe, but, we're just starting to see this number now. And, I'm happy for him. I think he's going to be a Blue Jay lifer. His dad, obviously up there in Montreal. And his dad is looking at him where he had a career earnings of 129 million. He gets 500 million. So his dad's probably smiling, happy for him. But no, I think the clubhouse, I think the organization, I think across the board, they're probably thrilled for Vladdy. I think he deserves it. It was just getting to the number. And to be honest, I was after contract extensions kind of halted at the beginning of the season, I thought they were going to trade him. I thought he was going to go venture out when they couldn't get the deal done, but they made him the face of the franchise, and I think rightfully so. He is the cornerstone of this franchise, so I'm happy for him, and I don't think they overpaid.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. $500 million looks like a lot until you remember it's 14 years. So if you phrase it differently and you say Vlad Jr., who according to stats in the last couple of years is a top 10 hitter in the league,
he is.
You're paying him $35.7 million for the next 14 years. That's not bad.
No,
it's really not bad, especially if the salary cap goes up again and you're looking at what could be a really fine contract, at least for the majority of it. The problem is that he's going to be getting paid until he's 40, and you wonder if the back end turns into an albatross. We'll see. The main thing that I'll mention about the Vlad Jr. deal, and I feel like I'm going to say this not even being a Yankees fan biased against the Blue Jays, but in the grand scheme of things, just based on what the franchise has done for the last 20 years or so, it really doesn't matter. At least that's how I looked at it. I don't think it really changes anything with this franchise because the franchise has been, to be honest, irrelevant for like 20 to 30 years, if we're just being honest here. Because as a Yankees fan, I'll use my frame of reference here. The Yankees, of course, have rivalries, and I'm sure you do, with every team in your division. Yeah. You see them a bunch, you dislike them. Toronto's probably the team that I think about the least out of the entire division because I never expect them to do anything over the course of the season, and they usually never do. Like, I'm going to ask you right now, when you think of Toronto's biggest moment in the last 20 years, what's the first thing you think of?
Jose Bautista's bat flip.
Correct. Do you know that was the last playoff series Toronto won?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My question to you was, does this contract change thing in October for them? Because I would agree. I'm not in your division, but my dad being a Yankee fan and from the Bronx and him talking about it, no one really fears the Blue Jays. And that's no disrespect, but they don't. And I don't really think signing a guy like Vlad Jr. is really going to change that. The Orioles, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Red Sox, they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, we're scared of the Blue Jays now.
No, they're not. I mean, the point is they definitely did it because, one, they wanted to do something. I imagine them constantly getting rejected by the top-tier Japanese prospects every year. Probably just comes back to hurt them every time. So they said, you know what? Nobody wants to come here. We're going to actually pay somebody that we already have and lock them down long-term, which is fine. I think the main reasons for the fan base, because if they let Vlad Jr. leave, they would have rioted. So I understand. So I understand why they did it, and that's why fans are happy, because this could have gone significantly worse than it actually did. But at the same point, as you said, this is still probably based on preset expectations and based on the rosters that each team has right now, the worst team in the AL East.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people expect them to be a playoff team. Vlad Jr. in his career is 0-6 in the playoffs. They've not won a playoff game since Vlad got there. 2015 is the last time they actually won a playoff series and a playoff game. And once again, they have been kind of just existing for the last 20 years, really not being relevant. And yes, the Batista moment was fun. Did lose the round after they beat the Rangers. But after that, they have just been all bark, no bite. And I feel like you can make the argument that kind of sums up the Blue Jays over the last couple of years, especially with Vlad making comments about how that was the trailer, this is the movie, and they're still losing without winning any playoff games. They've lost 6 straight playoff games, at least based on the run with Vlad. I feel like it's a good move for the fan base and for the franchise to actually say they did something. But am I picking them to suddenly be relevant? No.
Nope.
I'm not. I think as a whole, compared to other franchises in the league, especially in the AL East, I think they are an irrelevant franchise. And I feel like they made a move, which is good for them. Do I care as a Yankees fan? No. Like, not at all. Good for them. It makes no difference to me. And I'm not thinking about them at all. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Don't really care or think about, or I'm not scared of the Blue Jays whatsoever. Happy for Vlad, though. I'm glad he got his money. He deserves that.
I'm happy for the fans, too. They got somebody to cheer for.
They got someone, and I was going to say, maybe not now, because I don't think he is now, but maybe, let's just say, in 5 to 10 years, in his back half of the contract, do you think going into his 40s, is there a potential, because how old is he right now?
Right now he's 26.
26. Okay, so around 36 going into his early 40s. Do you think he could be possibly the best Blue Jay of all time? because I think it has to be either Roy Halladay or I'm biased, maybe like a Joe Carter or like a Roberto Alomar, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think that Vlad could be. Is that a stretch?
I think he could be, but the question is, how much do you prioritize stats over playoff success? Because Toronto hasn't had playoff success in a long time. So if you want to talk about like what it takes to be the best, to be Mr. Blue Jay, of course, Carter's got the best moment of all time. You're not going to top that.
No.
So if you want to make an argument for best Blue Jays of all time, you got an argument for Dave Stieb. You want to make the case for it? I mean, he was on the Blue Jays for a long time, and he did have multiple almost no-hitters, and he ended up having a no-hitter at some point. But he ended up pitching for the Blue Jays for many years, for about 13, 14 years, won 174 games. You can make an argument that he's one of the best Blue Jays of all time. If you want to go for some other guys that are an option, I mean, you mentioned a couple of names that definitely could apply. I thought about maybe saying Olerud, but I don't think he was on Toronto long enough. But he still, of course, had a great career with Toronto. Yeah. Well, you can mention a couple guys. As a hitter, maybe. I think that Roy Halladay probably gets it, even though, of course, people remember him also for having the playoff no-hitter with Philly. R.I.P. To Roy Halladay. So you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think Delgado was there long enough. You have an argument that Vlad, based on longevity, has a very good path to be the best Blue Jay of all time. But if he has a great career and it turns into Mike Trout and he just has no playoff success at all and he just puts up a bunch of numbers, is that good enough?
No.
So then you kind of are in a tough place.
Yeah, I agree.
But 14 years is a long time. So we'll see if Toronto can actually get into the thick of the playoff race in the American League. But I think right now you'd probably argue Roy Halladay. The sleeper, I think, is Dave Stieb. I think Stieb's the big sleeper for Toronto's history. But you mentioned a couple of guys that definitely could be in that immediate conversation for Mr. Blue Jay. Anything else you want to add on the contract conversation?
No, I thought you made a good point. We're both happy for Vlad, but we're also happy for the fans. They finally do something to keep a cornerstone for their franchise.
Yep.
I think we spent enough on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it. That's probably the most we're going to talk about the Blue Jays all year, but I wanted to at least talk about it because that was the big storyline that happened over the last 24 hours. Before we get into any of the games for Tuesday, I want to quickly remind you one thing to do: have a great Masters competition. Gus is right on the corner, and SGPN's back with Splash Sports for a big contest up to a $30K in prize at only $25 entry fee. Sign up today at splashsports.com/SGPN, splashsports.com/SGPN. Plus, a reminder, tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, These Heavy Small Show, and the Bottle Line Bombs for all of your Masters picks. Starting off with the first game on the Tuesday card, we actually have the same game that started off the Monday card. You have the Yankees taking on the Tigers. Tigers right now are up 6-1 in the 8th inning. We'll see what happens. Before this matchup, you do have a matchup between Skubal and Carrasco. Damn, what a mismatch on the mound. That's all I have to say for that one. But for the actual odds for the actual matchup itself, you have the Yankees, who are dogs. You have the Tigers at around minus 160, give or take. You have the Yankees at plus 134. For the over-under, you have the line being set at 7.5. Now, Carrasco this season's 1-0 with a 7.36 ERA. Skubal has not been good, though. He's 0-2 with a 5.91 ERA. I'm going to ask you, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, I might take a shot here and take the over 7.5. My total came out to 7.7. I know Skubal, he does have great stuff, but like you said, he hasn't really looked good in his first 2 starts of the season. 3+ runs given up in both starts, 6 hits given up in both games as well. He's also given up the long ball. It is his first start back home, which could work in his favor, but I don't know, man. The Yankees offense, I think we could see a turnaround. I know they don't look that good here Monday afternoon, but it's a top 5 offense. They're first in the league in home runs. They're hitting 296 off of lefties this year. It's going to be a cold, cloudy day in Detroit, but there are winds blowing out into center field around 11 miles an hour as well. So I think we're going to see some runs here. I think we're going to see a bounce back from this offense from the Yankees. Maybe look Yankees team total over, but I like the Yankees here, man. I think we're going to see some runs. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I like the over. That's my favorite play. Skubal, we know, of course, had the great season last year. He has not looked the same this year. And Carrasco's Carrasco. So the wind's blowing out. That's going to be a dangerous combo. Should be cold, though, in Detroit, but I do think the wind's going to help. So I'll go with the over. Total feels a bit low, and you can get even money, actually, on the over. So it is juice to the under. I'll go with the over at 7.5 there at even money. Moving on to the next game. You have the White Sox taking on the Guardians. For this matchup, you have Smith going up against Lively. For the actual price, you have the Guardians at around minus. Just pulling up the exact price here. Guardians are favored, obviously, but for the line, where the hell are they? Okay, wait, sorry. Let me just quickly pull this up. I see about minus 200, give or take, for the money line. And for the dog here for the White Sox, you have around plus 170. For the over-under, the total's at 7.5. So I'm going to ask you, because both offenses not look that good. Cleveland is 3-6, but they've not played a home game yet. And the White Sox are 0-3 on the road. I'll ask you, though, do you like either pitcher, or are you just going to blindly take the dog for plus money?
Yeah, I don't like. Actually, Shane Smith hasn't been terrible, but yeah, I really don't like either pitcher. Ben Lively has not been good. My Guardians came out to a huge favor, but White Sox, they're back to being the White Sox. Losers of 5 straight, just got swept by the Tigers. Offense doesn't look good. Pitching, bullpen really doesn't look good either. Like I said, I don't think Shane Smith has been that bad. I just don't trust that lineup to get him any run support, especially here on the road. I think there are going to be times where this season where we can get some value at the White Sox at home, but not here on the road. Ben Lively hasn't been great either, but Guardians do have a solid bullpen, and I trust them way more to hold the lead than the White Sox. Full game is chalky, like you mentioned, 2-1 favorite. Maybe look toward the Guardians' first 5 minus a half, but there's no way I want to be laying over a $2 favorite with the Guardians here.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I'll go with the under in this one. I see only 7.5, though. I see no 8s, but I do think the Yankees game with the wind blowing out, that's going to cause me to take the over. Wind is blowing in. It's supposed to be pretty cold in Cleveland tomorrow. It's supposed to be around 37, and the wind's blowing in from left at about 11 miles per hour. So I think I'm going to expect a low-scoring game here. If the Guardians win comfortably, that's fine. That means the White Sox probably didn't score. A couple ways to get the under here. So I'll go with the under in this one. But I'm not going to lay $2 with the Guardians. I think it's White Sox or pass. Yep. Moving on to the next game, you have the Cardinals taking on the Pirates. For this one, you have Sonny Gray taking on Skeens. Skeens is pitching, so you know that the Pirates are going to be favored in this one. They're around minus 140. For the Cardinals, you have plus 120. For the over-under, I see 6.5, but I do see mostly 7. So Gray's been okay. One good start, one bad start. Skeens, though, has been great. 1-0 with a 1.46 ERA. Pittsburgh, though, has been a mess. They are 3-7. I'll ask you, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, Paul Skeens Day tomorrow. Have you been to, I know we were talking about geography. Have you been to PNC Park?
I have not.
It's
one of the best. I heard it's the nicest ballpark. Either that or Oracle, I heard is very nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. Right on the water. You definitely got to go out there in the summer. I know it's
how many ballparks have you actually been to?
I did that math last summer. I've been to 15, 16.
Okay.
So,
is that only MLB, or is that including like other, like Long Island Ducks? Does that count?
No. I've only been to actually one spring training. It was this summer. It was out there in Clearwater, and they were okay. But yeah, no, just MLB parks. That's like a bucket list of mine. I'm trying to hit all the ballparks, but
I'm trying to think of how many I've been to. I've been to the old Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium. I went to Cleveland on a class trip.
Oh, I haven't been there. What is that, Progressive?
Yeah, it was Progressive Field. At least that's what it was named back then.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, Citi Field, of course, but
yeah.
And I went to Shea a couple times.
Fenway,
I've driven past, never actually been in there for a game. But no, those are the only ones that I've been to.
The Camden Yards is beautiful with the brick in right field. I think
Camden Yards. I was supposed to go on a camp tour trip through, and
unfortunately, trips.
Unfortunately, they canceled it, so we actually didn't end up going.
My favorite it has been PNC, and honestly, I was saying it last pod with you. Coors Field was beautiful. They just stink.
Oh, there's one more. I went to the Brewers ballpark.
All the ones that you have
when it was still called Miller Park, I went there. That was very nice. It's probably the nicest.
Is it still a dome? Yeah, right.
Oh, it's retractable now, I believe.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They changed the name though to American Family Field or something. It's Miller Park. Like I don't want to hear any negotiations here.
Yeah.
We name it after the beer companies and we keep the name.
It's still like with the Steelers. I still call it Heinz Field.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name is now, but it's Heinz Field. So there you go. It's the ketchup place.
It's the ketchup place.
That's how it goes. But yeah, I went to Milwaukee and I actually saw Jesus Aguilar hit a walk-off home run.
Oh, that's sick.
That was the one game I went to in Milwaukee. But
nice.
Anyway,
back to the game.
For this game, never been to PNC, but I'll put it this way: the stadium's a lot nicer than the team.
Yes, by far. You got to go in the summer. Paul Skeens' first start back at home, and I just expect him to have another great outing. My numbers made the Buccos up -155 favorite. You mentioned it. He's looked great in his first 2 starts. He's also getting stretched out a little longer too, which I like for the Pirates. Just 3 hits given up in both starts. Walks are down. Doesn't give up the long ball. He's also struck out 6+ in both starts. So I think this could be another good start for his Skeens. And I think he could limit the Cardinals' bats, who they're averaging 7.8 runs their last 5 games. Offense really hasn't been the issue. It's pitching in the bullpen for them. Opponents who face Skeens, I just don't really think they're going to have that much success. Pirates bullpen has been way better than the Cardinals too. We saw it last night for Sunday Night Baseball. Does not look good. Game got out of hand quick, but I like the Buccos here. I got a -120 earlier in the day. I think that's a really good price at home for Paul Skeens Day.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the under instead. I don't trust either offense in the spot. The Cardinals' offense was okay over the weekend against the Red Sox. They just couldn't pitch. That's why they ended up getting blown out in most of these games. But I do think that Skeens should pitch well because he's Skeens, obviously. I think Gray will pitch fine. Pittsburgh offensively was pretty standard against the Yankees. They did win the last game in extras, but they scored 4 runs in the first 9 innings of all those games. So they didn't really light it up offensively, and I do think that Sonny Gray's in line to pitch well against this offense. So I'll go with the under. I see a 7. I'll go with it. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. You could argue maybe first 5 under instead if you're scared of Pittsburgh's bullpen, but I see a low-scoring game. If I had to guess, like 2-1 entering the 6th, something like that. So I'll go with the first 5 under. Full game under as well. I see it finishing like 3-2, something like that. But I'll go with the under instead. I'll go with Pittsburgh, though, if I had to pick between the pitchers, because Gray has not been as sharp as Skeens has. Skeens was projected to be the Cy Young favorite, basically, and he looks like it because he's really, really good. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that one. Before we get into the remainder of the actual slate, quick reminder, once again, brought to by EdgeBoost because they have the Premier's debit card for bettors. You can also use the card to avoid being hassled to have your card denied. At the Sportsbook or DFS site, you can also get a great deal. Cash rewards, $750 per month cash rewards by using the EdgeBoost card. You can also use it because there are no credit checks, fully free. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by MyBookie because MyBookie.ag is the place to bet every sport. They have the Masters as well for golf lovers out there. They have props in every game. You can also use it for a ton of locations. You can also use crypto for letting fast payouts and freeze deposits. You can also head to MyBookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Went the first couple games on the card. Time to move on into the next game. We're going to match it between the Dodgers and the Nationals. So for this game, I don't see any pitchers listed, and because of that, I have no lines. So great talk. Moving on. No, just kidding. So for this game, assuming the Dodgers are going to be laying, for the sake of it, let's say 180. Is that fair? For the sake of it?
Yeah, it depends who's pitching. I thought it was going to be Blake Snell, but we got that update that he's going on the 15-day DL. Does that surprise you?
No, not at all.
No, not
We've been
at all.
taking his under strikeouts and never started anyway. Snell believes the season tends to start in July or August. So he's got a couple months to go. That's when he finds his groove in the summer months. But, I mean, I'm assuming based on reputation here, Dodgers are probably hefty favorites, right?
Yeah, even on the road, it doesn't matter. It's the Nationals, and Mackenzie Gore is going for them. And Mackenzie Gore, you know,
he's going for them today, I thought.
Oh, he is.
So then tomorrow you have some openings.
Yeah, so yeah, it's TBD. I don't know. Yeah,
but Gore, I believe, is pitching today.
Today, yeah. So
that's the only person you're afraid of in that rotation. So
exactly.
I'll go Dodgers and over without knowing any lines.
Dodgers team total over.
Yeah, there you go. Safe bet. Moving on to the next game. You have the Blue Jays against the Red Sox. We'll see how the $500 million man looks in his first game, or second game, technically. But you have the Blue Jays, who are dogs on the road here against the Red Sox. Pretty decent dogs, actually. You're looking at Berrios going up against Crochet. Blue Jays are around plus 166. I see the Red Sox at around minus 190. For the over-under, I see 8. Yeah, I think I'm going Red Sox minus 1.5. I think Crochet is really, really good. They just stole the script from Chris Sale and got another lefty from the White Sox who's going to be really good for them for a while. And I do think that he's going to pitch well. Toronto's been terrible on the road. I mean, you saw them over the weekend as a Mets fan. They did nothing offensively the entire series. And Berrios has been extremely underwhelming so far this season because he gives up home runs, he gives up contact, and the Red Sox have the bats going in a pretty impressive way, at least based on the last couple games there at home against the Cardinals. I'm going Red Sox -1.5. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like the Red Sox here. I mean, you mentioned it. Garrett Crochet has looked fantastic his last start versus the Orioles. Blue Jays struggle on the road. They just got swept by my Mets. Bats, they've been dead. They struggle to hit on the road, and I just think Garrett Crochet is going to have a solid outing against a struggling Blue Jay team. Jose Barrios, he's been average at best in his first 2 starts, in my opinion. I'm not really a big Jose Barrios kind of guy, to be honest. I don't think he's that good. Bullpen has been terrible, bottom 5 in the league, and against a Red Sox lineup who, they were kind of slow to start, kind of cold to start the season, but man, they've really come around. Talk about a turnaround. Rafael Devers has really turned it around. Just don't think this is a good spot for the Blue Jays. -1.5, I got at +110. I think that's a good spot.
Yep, I agree. Moving on to the next game. You have the Angels taking on the Rays. Not sure if people are going to watch this series, but it's still going on. For this one, you have Hendricks going up against Baz. And Baz, a pretty decent favorite, -165. The Angels are +140 for the over-under. I see the line being set at around 8.5. Baz has been great. Hendricks was good his first start. But we know Kyle Hendricks is definitely not a reliable option. So I'll ask you because I think I'm going to go with just the Rays, but I'm trying to think if I want to go for the Rays -1.5. I might gamble on it. I'm not a Hendricks guy at all. I know you're not either. I think Baz is pretty good, though.
Yeah, tough series, I mean, for the Rays over the weekend. But I think you and I both like the Rangers. I think long-term, they're going to be just fine. But it was a tough series over the weekend. And Shane Baz, he was great in his first start versus the Pirates. 6 scoreless innings. He had 10 strikeouts. He looked pretty good. And yeah, you're right. The ageless Kyle Hendricks. I'll say that. The ageless. I mean, he looked decent.
6-3, though. I mean, they won 2 out of 3 against Cleveland.
He looked decent. And I think luckily for this rotation and for their bullpen, I think the Angels bats have kind of overcompensated for the poor pitching for the Angels. But I don't think this is going to be one of those games between Baz and the bullpen. I think the Rays are just a much better team. They're hitting 289 off of righties. And I think we're going to see Hendricks kind of regress at some point. And I think that might be tomorrow. So I'll take the chance. I'm going to take the Rays -1.5 here.
Yeah, the only concern I have for the actual total is if I want to have faith in a Rays game to actually land 9 runs or higher, which is always a dangerous proposition. Angels have been good, though. I mean, they've scored at least 5 runs in, I believe, 6 straight games. So they've been doing their part. I know that Ohapi's been great this season. He's got 5 home runs, and he's batting .345. So he's been great. Trout's had some moments as well with the long ball, but I think I would go over, but I don't feel great about it. It's mostly fading Kyle Hendricks, but I will give props to the Angels. They have been better than people expected
100%.
in the first 9 games of the season. Moving on, though, to the next game, you have your team, who's playing the Marlins again for about the 50th game in a row. But for this matchup, you do have a pretty interesting pitching matchup because you do have the matchup between Gillespie and Clay Holmes. For the money line, the Mets are, -300. The Marlins are +245 for the over-under. I see the line being set at 6.5 or 7. First glance, over. 7 feels very short. 6.5 feels very short.
Yeah.
And I know that the wind's blowing in heavily, though, as it's supposed to be about 70 miles per hour blowing in from left field. Maybe that's why. But in what should be a low-scoring game, give me the Marlins money line. I think that's an insane price. I know Clay Holmes has been okay so far as a starter. -300. I'll pass. Give me the Marlins at +245.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, my numbers only made the Mets a -210 favorite, and I think that is very generous. -300 is absolutely insane for the Mets.
Holmes?
Yeah.
I don't know how many innings he's going to go.
Probably another 4 2/3.
Yeah,
that's all he does. I thought he looked much better, I'll say, in his second start versus Marlins team than his opening day. But, he did just give up 1 run in those 4 2/3. Strikeouts did go up a little bit, and Marlins, I feel like, are a team you want to back against lefties, not against righties so much. And I think once Holmes leaves the game, the bullpens has been lights out for this Mets team. They're the best bullpen in the league so far. And I don't think it's close besides us and the Padres. Maybe look towards a team total under for the Fish. Mets, they're hitting the ball not so well, to be honest. I mean, it's been a very lackluster season so far offensively. But with the rotation, Yeah, exactly. A win's a win. And with the way the rotation's pitching, all they need is 2 to 3 runs. So I'm gonna take the Mets -1.5. I got it at -115. I hate to lay money on a run line, but I just think the Mets are rolling right now. So I'm gonna go opposite side of you.
No, I get it. It's mostly just the price.
100%.
I'll be willing to take a flyer in what could be a 3-2 game. That's kind of my thoughts there. Moving on to the next game, you have the Phillies taking on the Braves. You have Wheeler going up against Sale in probably the pitching matchup of the day, maybe the week. I know Sale's not been great this season, but still defending Cy Young champion. You are looking at Wheeler, who's been amazing. A 1-0, 1.38 ERA. For the actual prices here, though, the Braves are favored in this game at -120. You have the Phillies at around even money. For the over-under, I see 7 flat. So I'll go with the Phillies. That's where I'm going to start because I do think the wrong team's favored here. The Braves had a tough schedule. They also split their temporary 2-game set against the Marlins because they had a rain out there on Sunday. But they didn't look great offensively. They have not looked great offensively. They had one good game and they got shut out by Cal Quantrill. So not a good sign for Atlanta. Give me Wheeler. He'll go distance, but Sale's not been great, and the Braves can't hit for the most part. So give me the Phillies plus money, or even money in this case.
Yeah, no, you're right. It should be a good series, or at least this matchup between Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale and the Braves. I don't know, man. We talked about it. When is it going to turn around? They just can't buy a win right now. And, they still have Chris Sale on the bump, but you got to expect he has to be better. His first 2 starts were not good. It's concerning the way he's been pitching, and now going up against a Philly team, just took 2 or 3 from the best team in baseball. They've just been mashing the ball, and now you're going on the now at home against Zach Wheeler, one of the best pitchers in the National League. They don't hit Phillies. They hit lefties well. They don't strike out a lot. They're patient. They draw walks. My numbers made them a -125 favorite here. So at even money, I think this is a game they should win with Wheeler on the mound, who has yet to give up more than 1 run this season. So I do think the Braves will turn it around, but I don't think it's going to be this series. I think the struggles are going to continue here. Give me the Phillies at even money as well.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to the next game, you have the Twins taking on the Royals. Both teams so far, really the whole division has not looked that good. But the Royals are slightly better, 1 game better than the Twins right now. You have Reagans against Pablo Lopez. Both pitchers have been fine. So far this season, Lopez has actually been very good, but does have a 1-1 record. For the price, you have the Royals at around -130. You have the Twins at around +110. The over-under in this one is set at 7.5. Minnesota's offense woke up a bit over the last couple games against Houston. Did split those games, but they have scored at least 6 runs in back-to-back games. In fact, to go through the last couple of games before that, they have scored at least 6 runs in 4 of their last 5. So they have been playing well offensively. Yeah. As for Kansas City, they've been, once again, okay. They won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, mainly because of good pitching. They allowed less than 3 runs in 2 of those 3 games. Kind of a tough call here, to be honest, but I think I'll go Minnesota for plus money. I think Lopez and Reagans are comparable, and Minnesota's been swinging the better bat lately. So I'll go Twins, but really not a strong opinion at all. I'm not going to bet this game, but I'll go Minnesota plus money.
This was a tough game to handicap, in my opinion. As much as I like the Rangers this year, oh, no, we're on the different one. It's still a tough game to handicap. I like the Royals here, though. Both teams, I agree. They've kind of been overwhelming to start the season, but I think the main reason
feel the same, to be honest.
They are. They're like the same team, and I think the main reason why I'm coming down here with the Royals here at home, I just can't back the Twins with how poorly they hit lefties. 0-7-1. I know it's small sample size. It's early, 9-10 games into the season, but that's very concerning. The Royals, they're a much better hitting team overall. Pitching, I think, is kind of even with them. And Twins are still dealing with some injuries in their lineup. And I think if you don't want to back the full game, I think Cole Reagans is a little better than Pablo Lopez. I think I said it with you last week. I'm not the biggest Pablo Lopez fan, even though he has looked okay. I just think the offense has really come alive in that Baltimore series for the Royals. So I'm going to take the Royals here straight up. I think they have the slight edge here at home.
Yeah, I feel like Lopez is a guy that I'm with you. I'm lower on than most people, but I do recognize the upside. The 100%. Issue is the upside kind of comes in waves where he'll look great for a month and then he'll get shelled a couple times, and then he ends up with almost the same stats every year. I think he's fine. I just feel like I wish he was a bit, I'd say he's viewed as an elite pitcher by some, and I just don't see the elite stretches lasting long enough. That's kind of my issue with Lopez. I think he's fine. And Reagan's I actually like quite a bit. But I'll go with Minnesota for the plus money between two teams that feel the exact same. Moving on to the Rangers against the Cubs. Damn, we have a blast from the past here for an actual pitching matchup here. You have Tyone pitching for the Cubs. Patrick Corbin is pitching for the Rangers. For the money line, you have the Cubs at minus 160, the Rangers at around plus 135. For the over-under, I see the line being set at 7.5. You had me at 7.5. I'll go with the over in this one. Corbin and Tyone, thanks. I'll take it. The win's not that bad in Wrigley. I see a high-scoring game compared to this number, at least. Tyone can get shelled. Corbin can get shelled like always. Couple ways to get there. Give me the over 7.5. You?
Yeah, as much as I like the Rangers this year, I just don't think I could back Patrick Corbin here on the road. This is going to be his first start of the year, and to be honest, he was terrible last year on the road. Cubs, they've been hitting the ball well. They hit lefties better than they do righties, and Cubs, first in the league in total runs, walks, total hits, first in RBIs. They're hitting the ball well after that international series. I know I gave them some shit, but they really turned things around, and meanwhile, as good as the Rangers have been, they've
not been hitting that well.
No, under 200 against righties on the year, and overall, like you said, they're just not the best hitting team. Pitching has been there, but I think Jameson Taillon could have a nice bounce back here. Start for the Cubbies, and I think this could be a good outing for him. I backed him. It was a little chalky. I got it at minus 146. My numbers made him a minus 160 favorite, so little room to work with, but I agree on the total as well. I think you got a 7.5. My total made an 8.4, so I like the over here as well.
Yep. Moving on to the next game, you have the Brewers taking on the Rockies. You're looking at the pitching matchup for this one. It is Peralta against Freeland. Brewers are around minus 165. Rockies are around plus 140. For the over-under in this game, the line is being set at 9.5 because it is in Coors, of course. If you want to go for the run line for Milwaukee, you can get the run line available at around plus 100, give or take, minus 104, shop around. Point is, though, for this game, I'm going to go with the Brewers minus 1.5. Rockies did not get swept by the A's. Congratulations. This team stinks. They might be the worst team in the league. It wouldn't shock me. Milwaukee, after getting shelled by the Yankees and losing their first game to Kansas City, they've been fine. Milwaukee's actually 5-5. They are 0-3 on the road, so I do recognize they've not been a good road team, but that was against the Yankees. I think they'll look better here. Freeland has been good, so is Peralta, but the Rockies' bullpen's useless. They can't pitch. They got shelled in the first two games by the A's. Give me the Brewers minus 1.5 at around even money.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another total in this one. My total came out to 10.5, so I'm going to take the over 9.5 at minus 115 here. It's going to be a nice night in Denver, and I think the ball is just going to fly off the bat. Small sample size, but the over is 2-0 and 1 at Coors Field this year, and one of those overs was the snow game that you and I were talking about, and Kyle Freeland and Freddie Peralta, they haven't been terrible, but what I really love the over is that we got two top of the worst bullpens. They're number 1 and number 2 top worst bullpens in the league going against each other. So even if Peralta and Freeland have decent starts, I think once the starters leave the game, these relievers are going to give up a lot of runs here. Rockies, surprisingly, hitting over 300 at home to start the year. So I think the ball is going to fly off the bat. Maybe look towards a Rockies team total over 4.5. I like that as well. But I'm going to take the over 9.5 at Coors Field is small.
Yeah, to be fair, a little bit of pushback for the home stats. It was 3 games against the A's.
Yeah,
we saw the A's against the Cubs. They gave up like what felt like 15 runs a game.
That's why I said small sample size.
Just saying it was against the A's. We'll see how they look in this one. But the Brewers bullpen has been a problem so far this season as well. I agree with you about the over, but I'll go with the Brewers minus 1.5 because the Rockies might be the worst team in the entire league. Moving on to the next game, you have the Orioles taking on the Diamondbacks. For this one, you have the Arizona home team here being favored by around minus 120. For Baltimore, you have even money. You have Morton going up against Kelly. And for the over-under, I see the line being set at 9. Now, Morton has been awful. He might be washed. We'll see. He's been really bad. Kelly was, I'd say, underwhelming in his first couple of starts. First start, he was fine against the Cubs. Did give up 7 base runners, 3 hits, and 4 walks. Only gave up 1 run, but he's not struck out anybody. He has 3 strikeouts in his first 2 starts combined, but the Yankees killed him. 3 2/3, 9 earned runs, 3 home runs on 9 hits and 3 walks. So his numbers are very skewed because of one outing, but he was good against the Cubs in his first start. We'll point out that was a home start. So he got shelled on the road. He was good at home. Baltimore offensively really did not do anything for the most part in that Royals series. Henderson came back. He's very rusty. He's been striking out a ton. But I think that Morton might actually be washed watching him pitch. The strikeout stuff isn't there. The contact's there. Just not what you want to see from an older guy who's also been really bad on the road over the last couple of years. I'll go Arizona. I think the line's pretty cheap. I know Kelly's not been great, but minus 120 I think is too cheap for a good lineup against a pitcher that really might be well beyond his best years. Give me Arizona minus 120.
Do you think he's sent down before All-Star break?
Do you even send down a veteran like that? Or do you just waive him?
I think you just waive him.
I mean, once again, the sample size is small, but Morton, we have seen over the years, he'll piece together some serviceable stats by the end of the year, but I just don't really see it. He's 41 at the moment. Last year, he was 8-10 with a 4+ ERA against Atlanta. He has been alternating between like good years and bad years, but he's 41. We've seen Verlander look horrible so far this season. Like, it's pretty tough nowadays when you focus on so much of the either spin rates, you're focusing on velocity, and you're basically throwing batting practice in all your starts. Do you think Morton makes it to the end of the year? Because I don't really see it right now. I see him being DFA'd.
No, I think he's waived at this point. Small sample size, and maybe we're being a little too harsh, but I agree. I don't think at this point he's not consistent. Like you said, yeah, he'll throw a good game here and there, but you have to be consistent at this level, and hitters are just getting better. They're not getting worse at this point. And yeah, I don't like him here in this spot either. Minus 112 at home for the Diamondbacks. That's insane. Yeah, it might be my lock. Minus 140 is what my numbers came out to. I think he's at the tail end of his career. He's just not someone you want to back until he shows you and he could go out there and be consistent and maybe be like a Bartolo Colon in his second half of his career. Then you can't back him. You can't put your hard-earned money and back Uncle Charlie at this point. And honestly, the Orioles are struggling right now. Forget Charlie Morton. Their pitching is struggling. They're having problems scoring runs, and I think that's going to continue against Merrill Kelly. I wouldn't overreact. I think we're going to expect a big bounce back here after a very tough outing on the road against one of the best lineups in baseball in the Yankees. He's been great at home in his career, and I think the Diamondbacks, after a long road trip, I think they're dying to come home. They're the better team. They have the better starting pitcher, and they have the better lineup. So I think the Snakes are going to bounce back here and get back in the win column. Minus 112 is ridiculous.
I want to give you a trivia question. Do you want to guess the first season that Morton played in? Just the year.
Yeah, the year 2000.
No, he's not that old. 25 years. No, he's not Satchel Paige.
2007.
Close. It was 2008. Point is, though, he's been around for basically like 18 years. That's a good career.
That's an accomplishment in itself.
You can say that it's over. Like, it's fine. He has been really, really bad, and it does not look good under the hood.
How much money has he made in his career earnings?
I imagine
he's made a shitload.
I mean, over the course of everything, I'm sure. I'd imagine early in his career he wasn't paid that much when he was with the Pirates because he wasn't really known for being a solid pitcher yet. But I think Houston paid him. Tampa paid him. I mean, Atlanta, I think, paid him too. If I had to guess, probably, I'm assuming below $100 million, but probably somewhere in the mid teens. I'd go like 50 to 60, maybe. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought you were going to look it up.
Point is, though, good career. But
definitely.
I think it's basically over at this point. So there you go. Moving on, you have the Astros taking on the Mariners. For this one, you have Valdez taking on Castillo. This is not F. Castillo. This is the original Castillo for the Mariners. For the money line, you have the Astros at minus 115, the Mariners at minus 105. The over-under in this game is set at around, I see 7 as the flat total here. Valdez had a tale of 2 starts. He was really good against your team. Then he was really bad in his last start against the Giants. We'll point out that general manager Dana Brown said that Valdez is dealing with some fatigue and a sore throat. So we'll see if he pitches, actually. He might not pitch tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. I can't take Houston not knowing if Valdez is pitching. And the fact that he said he's dealing with fatigue and a sore throat, That sounds like an illness to me. It could be strep, could be something, but
what's
I'll
that
pass.
virus going on?
I don't really know. It doesn't sound like corona, but it's something.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Mariners because at least I know who's pitching for them. Valdez, it sounds like he's not going to pitch. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I just heard about he was dealing with the sickness last night. So, and now they're going to trot him out there. Not really
off a bad start too.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I agree with you, man. Honestly, two underwhelming teams. Astros been underwhelming, and Mariners are always underwhelming, if I'm being honest.
Yep.
I agree. I'm going to take the Mariners here at home. Mariners, they've actually hit lefties pretty well for their standards. For their standards, they've hit lefties pretty well. And I just don't trust Framber Valdez. In his first start of the season, he got smoked versus the Giants in his last outing. So should be a low-scoring game. I set my total at 7. So I think we should see a low-scoring game here. But, I'm going to take the Mariners here at home. I'll take a shot. Guy dealing with sickness. Maybe Mariners first 5. I like that. Maybe eliminate the bullpen, but yeah, I'm going to be on the Mariners as well.
Yeah, we talked about before how the Blue Jays I view as an irrelevant team. I put the Mariners in the same exact category.
I agree.
So I don't really take them seriously at all. Moving on to the next matchup. You have the Reds taking on the Giants. For this one, you have Lodolo, who's been great this season, against Rupp. Rupp's actually favored here, -120. The Reds are even money. For the over-under, the line's being set at 7.5. So Raup has not pitched much of the season, not been that great, 6.75 ERA. Lodolo's been good, though, a 1.42 ERA. He has been very good. Faced off against the Giants in his first start at home. 6 innings, 2 runs, so he was great. I think the wrong team's favored. I understand the Reds have been awful offensively. I get the Giants have been good. But I think Lodolo is significantly better in terms of starting pitching compared to the Giants option here. Give me the Reds at even money.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think the wrong team is favored. Reds +110. Nick Lodolo has been great in his first 2 starts. Given good length, he doesn't walk batters, doesn't give up the long ball. And Giants, only 219 off of lefties. For all the success that they're having, only 219 they're hitting off of lefties this season. I think this might be a good spot to fade them. And I know the offense you mentioned kind of lackluster. They doesn't breed confidence right now. But in a coin flip game, I'm going to take the team with the plus money here. Yeah, so I agree. +110 for the Reds.
Yep. Moving on, though, to the last game on the slate. You have the Padres taking on the A's. So it should be an interesting series because the A's have been getting just destroyed at home all season. So maybe an over blindly until an A's home game goes under. For this one, though, you have Cease taking on Springs. You have the Padres at -150. You have the A's at +125. Over-under in this game is being set at 8.5 or 8. So I said before, every A's home game has been high scoring. Cease, we know, has been good so far this season. I kind of group Cease with Pablo Lopez, where people talk about, well, it's mostly how I treat both pitchers. I think they're talked about, I'd say, more highly than they should be. Cease has a couple stretches every year where he looks like the best pitcher in baseball, and he had a no-hitter last year. But then you watch the rest of his season, and it's fine. Like, it's not as amazing as you'd expect for an ace pitcher who is viewed as a highly sought-after trade candidate when he was on the White Sox. Kind of like how I feel about Pablo Lopez. He'll go on a run for a month or two, look great, then he'll be fine for the rest of the season, but nothing earth-shattering. Is that fair, or do you think that's a bit harsh?
No, I don't think it's harsh. I think Dylan Cease is a little better than Pablo
I would say he's
Lopez.
better than Lopez, but it's mainly the same. It's the same criticism I have with both guys.
Do you think that's why the trade market wasn't really there for Dylan Cease when they were actively trying to deal him in the offseason? Do you think GMs are thinking what you're thinking? Yeah, he's a decent pitcher, but he goes on stretches where he's really not.
Yeah, I feel like the concern you always run into is that when you have a pitcher who has the upside of being a top 10 guy in the league, but for the most part, looks like a top 20, top 30?
Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
The question is, how much does he want to get paid? If he thinks he's top 10 and you don't think he's top 10, then you're overpaying for a decent middle, let's say, rotation starter. Do you think Cease is number 1? I don't. I think he's a number 2 or number 3.
Yeah, I think he's a solid 2 or 3.
So then you're paying a number 2 or number 3 potential number 1 money, and I feel like that kind of scared off some franchises.
I would agree. Yeah,
so
I think you're right.
That could be why. So anyway, point is, Springs has been good so far with the A's so far this season. But I do think that I'm going to go with the Padres. until the A's win a home game, I'm going to fade them. This bullpen's a mess for the most part. I'm just not impressed at all. The Padres had a really bad series against the Cubs. They were able to salvage the final game of the series, but they were really bad against the lefties for Chicago. They've been fine against righties, and Springs, I think, can be in line to pitch fine, but I think that the bullpen might punt it. I don't mind the A's first 5, though, because he is a lefty. I said before, the Padres have not been good against lefties. But Springs in his first home start got shelled by the Cubs. 3 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned. Maybe the A's first 5 if you want to just keep going against the Padres against lefties. But I want nothing to do with this bullpen. Give me the Padres minus 150.
Yeah, I took the Padres. Got a little early, minus 136. My numbers made them minus 145 favorite. Tough series against the Cubbies over the weekend, but seemed like the offense got going on Sunday. They fought back. They won the game. You mentioned it. A's, they're terrible.
They were now like 7-3-2 in the third inning. That was a very nice comeback.
Yeah, very nice comeback. Just speaking because I had the Padres at plus money. A's 0-3, like you mentioned, at home, over 3-0. So that is over. I do like the over. At 8 is a very small number. My total came out to 8.9. So yeah, I like the over. They just don't hit righties well. And like you mentioned, Dylan Cease has looked good to start the year. Strikeouts have been high. He's not walking batters so far. And the Padres bullpen has been fantastic. Second in the league behind the Mets. Meanwhile, A's, you mentioned, bottom 5 bullpen in the league. I think this is a good series overall for the Padres to get back into the win column, get their groove back going. Tough series, like I said, against the Cubbies, but minus 136 right now. I think that's a good price for Dylan Cease.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, though, before we get into the actual lock and dog picks for the show, quick reminder that we are brought to Bounty Fantasy because they have a great pick'em contest, and you can use it to make 100 times your money. If you do mix and match sports, you can also do that. If you want to do the college basketball game tonight, last time you could actually look at college basketball tonight, so keep that in mind. You can also do the NBA, MLB, tennis, etc. You can also mix and match 100 times your money. Sign up, though, for your new account with the promo code MLB SGPN. They got a special getting first time deposit offer up to 1K bonus cash on fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm because Rhythm is the home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is also now live for Major League Baseball. They have models on other sports. They have the NBA and golf. So you want to get some Masters thoughts but don't know what you're doing, trust the models there. You can use golf to help find some picks for you. Sign up, though, for your free trial, though, 7-day free trial by using the link, sportsgamblingcom, sportsgamblingcom, RETHMM. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through every game on the Tuesday card. Time for the lock and dog picks. Dylan, I'm going to let you go first. I think I can guess what your lock's going to be, but I'll let you officially state what your lock's going to be.
Well, one, I want to know what you're thinking now.
Arizona.
Exactly. You are. We've been doing the show a little too long. Yes, I'm going to take Arizona. We're just going to fade Uncle Charlie here. Don't need much explanation here. I think we spent enough time fading him. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Diamondbacks minus 118. And as my dog, I wanted to take the Rays minus 1.5, but think that's stretching it out a little bit. Even though I don't like Kyle Hendricks, the A's bats do scare me sometimes. But can I still get plus money here with the Red Sox minus 1.5 currently? Do you see that?
Yeah, so the Red Sox, I see plus 105.
You've taken shorter. I'll take the Red Sox.
Yeah, I took even money.
I'll take the Red Sox minus 1.5. Garrett Crochet is elite, and the way the Blue Jays bats have been struggling here on the road, and Jose Barrios is just a fade in my opinion right now. So yeah, not a good spot here for the Blue Jays. I'll take the Red Sox minus 1.5. Their bats have been hot.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with my instincts here, which is fading Patrick Corbin in some capacity. So I'm going to go with the over. As my lock at 7.5 at minus 118. Tyone was good last year at home. I acknowledge it, but he's been bad so far this season in general. Not a big fan. Corbin, I mean, enough said. Like, there are some names that you throw out there, and you know what to do or you know what to think.
What's another name?
Well, I'm trying to think of other options here for pitchers because Corbin's really set the bar pretty high.
A few years ago, it was Jacob deGrom. You just bet him, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple names, whether it's pro or con, where you already know what you're doing before the game actually starts. If you want to make an argument for, in the past, Logan Webb at home with the Giants, you just take the under. Yep. You feel pretty good about yourself. Yeah. You can make an argument for some bad pitchers, too. Maybe Charlie Morton. We'll see what happens. But
he's getting there.
You get what I'm saying? Noah Syndergaard.
Oh,
you used to see his name, you'd fade him every time, and you usually win. So,
and get a steal.
Yeah. So, and a bunch of steals too. Point is, though, there are a couple of pitchers that you just recognize and go, I'll dare you to beat me. Give me the over 7.5 at -118. I get that it's in Wrigley. The wind's not supposed to be that bad tomorrow, so I'll go with the total there as my lock. For my dog, I am going to go short, and I am going to go with the team that has not been playing great baseball, but I do think they have the better pitcher on the mound. Give me Lodolo at +110. I think Raup should not be the decent favorite here. He's not shown anything so far, basically in his career, and Lodolo has been amazing. He already shut down this offense once in a much more hitters-friendly park in Cincinnati. Then they'll look sharper here. Give me Lodolo and the Reds at +110 on the money line as my dog. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the Tuesday card. Anything else you want to add?
No, it's sad night. By the way, late start here for national championship game. It's
always at 9 o'clock. It sucks.
I mean, it's 8:50 at advertised. It won't national anthem. It won't tip till fucking 9:10. But
and they don't play in an actual basketball stadium.
Do you hedge? Do you hedge? Are you a hedger?
Sometimes. I feel like I know according to SGPN laws, I'm never hedging in my entire life, but I actually do hedge sometimes. Oh. It depends on how big the payout is or how confident I am in the final leg. Like, if I feel good about the pick, I'm not going to blindly hedge for the sake of hedging. But if I have reason to be skeptical of the pick, or if I'm mid-game and I don't like how it's looking, there was that parlay that I had last year, for example. I had the Game 7 of the Bruins Maple Leafs game, 1-1 regulation, parlayed with the Magic Cavs Game 7. I had Mitchell 40 points and the Magic money line, and it was like $30 to win $32,000. And the Bruins game ended up 1-1, so I won that one.
Yeah.
Mitchell had like 25 or something points in the third quarter, and the Magic were winning by like 15. And the cash out was like, I think it was 10 grand at some point. And then the Cavs came back, and I could tell the Magic were going to choke. So I cashed out for like 3-4 grand. And then Mitchell finished with 39.
Oh.
And the Cavs won, so it didn't matter anyway.
It didn't matter.
But I ended up cashing out, and I made money. So
yeah,
I'm willing to cash out if the opportunity's there. But I don't go into parlays with $30 going, I'm afraid. I don't understand how some people forget about cash outs for actual profit. You always see people on tickets on Twitter, $10 to win 20 grand, and it wins, and they cash out for $10. They cash out for the amount they wager. How badly do you need the $10?
Yeah.
You know, like, you figure you throw in $10, you automatically say to yourself in your head, I'm fine with never seeing this money ever again.
Some of those gambling tickets we see on Twitter, it's just you just got to sit there and laugh.
But you know what I mean, though? I wonder how much of it is clout chasing. There's no way you're
100%.
You're picking a 3-pick home run parlay to win $20,000, and you cash out before the first game starts. What's the point?
Yeah, it's awful.
Did you hit the wrong button? Like, what happened?
By the way, the reason I ask is because I have Florida. I have a +330 future on Florida before the tournament, and I honestly just put more money.
It really comes down to, once again, how much you need the money. Because if you want to cash out and you risk, I don't know how much you risked, but if it's going to hurt your pockets pretty badly if you lose, then sure, you could hedge it. If you're not going to really care in the grand scheme of things and you like Florida, don't let it ride.
You mentioned hockey real quick. Flowers to your Islanders. Class act for a great celebration for Ovi breaking the record on your guys' ice.
Thanks. I didn't watch it.
What?
I didn't
Watch it.
Yeah, my team sucks. They should be paying me money to watch that team play.
Yeah, they're not good this year.
Shout out to the Islanders if they won the game 4-1. So,
yeah, they did.
That's the only goal the Capitals scored the entire game. So we won. It didn't matter, but we lost the battle, won the war. But nice for Ovechkin. Happy for him. We'll see how they do in the playoffs, trying to go for that President's Trophy. Anything else you want to add? Or...
Nope, we're good.
Okay, let us know in the next episode if you hedge or not, but good luck to Florida in the title game. Till next time, you can find me on Twitter, Rice Radio. Find him on Twitter at Rock with 2Ks24. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.